Hi there, and thanks for joining DXC's Tech Talk. My name is Sita Lohman. I'm the Vice President and General Manager in our Microsoft Dynamics business. Did you know, which I recently learned, that the average person spends 90,000 hours at work over our lifetime? So the question becomes, how do you create a professional life that you really love and are passionate about? Today, our panel of amazing women in the Microsoft Dynamics practice are going to talk about their journey into technology and specifically today working in the Dynamics business, how they've shaped both their personal and professional lives to join us. So I love the questions. What's your personal journey and your personal story? I started my career as an electrical engineer. I went to Auburn University, War Eagle for those out there. I found pretty early on I was a terrible engineer, so I decided that was probably not the best path for me. And so from there, I moved into product management. I spent quite a few years working in the defense business at a company called Texas Instruments Defense, which became Raytheon. I moved from there to Nortel, and I did quite a few years in both product management and product marketing. And then for the last 10 years, I have been at HPE, which became the DXC business that I'm at now. Again, mostly in the high tech and in the product management and now general management space. So let me turn it over to Rachel. Tell us about your journey.
Hi, my name is Rachel Murphy. I'm the Senior Finance Manager over at our Microsoft Dynamics practice. I have been in the industry for 6 years in the technology industry. My background is finance, so I've done everything from restaurants to financial groups to whoever would take me. At that point in time, I'm always eager to learn and I like to be challenged, which is why I found myself here. So I went to USF over in Tampa, go Bulls. We don't really compete with sports very much, so I'm not going to offend anyone else on this call with that comment. And other than that, that's pretty much how I got here. So Dina?
Hi, I'm Dina McCory. I'm an account executive, and I have 15 years of experience with Microsoft Dynamics. It's been fun. I originally went to Clemson. I'm also an engineer, a bioengineer from Clemson. I enjoy implementing all of the Dynamics, the stack, including Azure, Dynamics 365, and the Power Platform. I'm a little different. I actually am an engineer by education. I took a little break from technology for a little while, went and got my law degree. I missed it so much that now I'm back. So I love actually learning technology and how it impacts law, and law impacts technology. So it's never a dull moment. So I am going to pass it over to Julie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Dahmenwicki, and I started out initially in accounting as a senior analyst in inventory and got exposed to an ERP system there and found that I really loved the challenges and the new learning. So was recruited by a corporation and went to work in technology, became an expert in general ledger, work in process, shop floor management, etc. And happened to have a situation in my life where both my dad and my younger brother were ill at the same time. And I had traveled about 90% of the time and wanted to be home. And so I found a local accounting firm and started working with Dynamics GP. After the health situation passed with my family, I decided I really missed the medium and larger customers. And I ended up coming to TriBridge, which was acquired by DXC. I found my home. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very blessed to be where I am. Over to Lori.
Awesome.
Hello, Lori Murray, and currently an account executive for the Microsoft practice DXC/HP for 10 years and 6 years in the Microsoft practice. And I actually I went to Ohio State University, go Bucks. And actually graduated in finance with the idea that I wanted to go into banking, which I did. And I was actually in banking for over 20 years and was approached by DXC/HP at the time, 10 years ago, to recruited over to do a body of work, a huge transformation project for them. And I thought, you know what, I've been in banking pretty much my entire career, and I was always in the technology side plus the business side. So I never really thought of myself as a technologist. I was always a banker, but dabbled in technology. And I just thought what an interesting opportunity to reach over into that side of the house and then actually help our clients from that side. So I did join the company, and then eventually joined the Microsoft practice, and have been here and really living the unbelievable stack that Microsoft the partners like us to deliver to our customers. So over to you, Barbara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Powell. I'm a sales executive here at DXC Technology. I am part of the Microsoft Business Applications team. I have been in technology sales for almost 20 years now. I actually started my career, though, as an accountant and as a controller. So it's interesting to hear all of us started with a different background, but I started out in accounting, a controller, and in that process, I actually went through a new systems implementation with that company as a controller. And at the end of that process, decided to take a chance selling accounting software. And it turned out very, very well. I've been very successful all these years. I love it because technology continually changes. So we're always learning something new. My customers' problems are always different. So we're always solving new problems. It's been very personally and very financially rewarding for me. So I'm really glad I made the move. Thank you.
That's awesome, Barbara. Actually, a great segue. It's interesting just to hear so many people that have come from, different backgrounds. Wow, I didn't realize we had so many financiers on the call. Might have to leverage a few of you guys a little more. But I'm just curious, what did you like about being in high tech? Certainly that's the career I've been in my entire life. But for those of you that maybe came from a non-high tech background, it was probably intimidating, I would think, at first to jump in, and might be why some people wouldn't jump into it. So I'd be curious to hear, what was your thought process in joining? Were you kind of nervous about doing it? And then now that you're in it, what do you love about it? Similar to kind of, Barbara, where you were just talking about.
Yeah, sure. For me, making the change into sales as well, and learning the technology and keeping up with the technology as it changes has been challenging, but very fun. Certainly never boring. It's always new. Even now, Microsoft is releasing so much new product, from the Power Apps and all the AI intelligence that's out there, that I'm constantly learning new skills and challenging myself as well. So yeah, it's been great.
No, that's great. Others, Dina, what do you like about it?
Go ahead, Lori. That's fine. Thanks, Lori.
I was just going to say, I think that it's, basically being the banker and working on, balance sheet, income statement, just your basics, banker stuff, and then being thrown into what the technologies were out there at the time to help us just help our customers more was really intriguing to me. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Courage is fear holding on for a minute longer." And I think when in the beginning, when we started to dabble in technology and it was new to me, I think I thought that way a lot, where it was pretty scary because you didn't know. And if you think about it, you didn't even know what questions to ask back then. So I think that makes me hopefully a better client partner and account executive, because I think what it allowed me to do is have the ability to ask a lot of questions, because that's the way I figured things out along the way, because I wasn't a technologist.
No, it's great. Dina, your thoughts?
Yeah. So when I graduated from Clemson, I was going to put that little stir in there. I went to the DoD, and so I did data analytics with the DoD, and then I went from data analytics to court software. And so I've always been around software since I graduated a few years ago. Say how old I am, but it's been fun. And then when I jumped into the Microsoft space, it was game on, because you had to know the technology, you had to know the clients, you had to understand what their business needs were. I learned very quickly to get to the point, to get to the issue. How do we solve this? How do we solve this as a team? And so, like I said, I've been with this product since 2006, and it has come a long way, as Barbara said. It's come a really long way, and it's been It's a great product to implement a full stack solution, and it just to see that impact on a client is amazing for me. And so that's sort of my journey into this high tech. I call it fun world because it is changing daily, if not hourly, right? So it's never a dull moment.
Yeah, actually a good segue, Julie, into just the impact that we're making on clients and their business. And just, how is the Microsoft Dynamics solution really impacting them? I know you have some interesting stories about clients that you've supported.
Yes, I do. So several clients that I've worked with have been very engaging. The first one is actually a retail coffee and specialty drink franchise in the western part of the country. And their culture is so fantastic. To some extent, it caters to a younger vibe. You walk into the front office, they have their mission statement posted. There's loud music. Everybody fervently cares about each other. The whole environment is just very welcoming. And they were a customer that I would say made money in spite of themselves. And the reason why I say that is they were expanding very, very quickly, and yet they did not know what their inventory levels were. So by choosing D365, we were able to lead them down the journey where they can now see their inventory. They can make better and more informed decisions, just knowing what their inventory on hand is. They also have superior financial reporting using one of our tools. Like I said, an amazing customer. I was very privileged to be able to work with them. Another customer that I can contrast is actually in the lottery and gaming arena. And this company has a ton of very talented people working for them. And they are $8.3 billion in revenue. And we've been helping them with issues such as being able to do master planning, being able to know how and when they can actually get inventory to their 10,000 retailers. So just, very pleasing to work with them, and just very privileged and engaging, and very fortunate to be exposed to customers like that.
That's cool. Lori, I know you and I were on a call today with a client, and to carry off of Dina's comment about the software from Microsoft and how it's growing over time. And we've got, several clients that are leveraging the latest and greatest, and in some cases, even early access of software to kind of help meet their problems. But, you have a couple of great clients as well that have some interesting journeys that we're supporting them on.
Yeah. So one client, they came to us to help replace their current ERP system. They chose 65, and the metrics that just a handful of metrics that they were attempting to improve were around financial reporting, better managing internal projects, improving automation of intercompany bank transactions, eliminating a lot of manual work. I mean, I think it's interesting that most companies still have a lot of manual work that is being done in the back office. And so being able to automate that, better forecasting, and Julie was saying, and really increasing sales and focusing on sales. And at the end of the day, really focusing on what are the things that can be done to improve the resources experience, and obviously the customer's experience, and help with regards to the profitability of the organization. So the whole thing of lowering expense.
That's great.
By
hey, Barb,
and then improving revenue.
Oh. Sorry about that. Looks like we had a little bit of a glitch. Hey, Barbara, so I know on the sales side, you get to talk to a lot of clients and really help them think through even just the problems that they're having, and, really thinking through how to solve those problems. Just what you could share with the audience about how do we help our clients really just think through even how to approach solving some of the problems they're trying to have.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why I really love my job. And even though I wear a sales hat, I don't feel like I wear a sales hat, because we come in very consultative, and we meet with various members of the company, from technical to the business managers to production and manufacturing to sales and marketing. And we spend some time asking some tough questions about the business, about competition, what they're seeing in their industry. I think one of the things we're seeing with Microsoft now is a real drive to industry and industry solutions. So talking about what we're seeing in the industry with those clients, and then coming back and aligning that to all of the software that Microsoft brings to the table, whether it's ERP or the CE, the customer engagement and CRM side, or analytical tools. So yeah, it's great. It's a great process. It's very collaborative. We work together as a team, so it's never just me. I have a full team around me, and it's fun working with my teammates here at DXC and collaborating and talking with that customer through their business and their business problems and where they see it today and where they might see it in 5 years. So
that's great.
It's great.
So having 6 women on the call, I would be remiss if we didn't have a conversation a bit about International Women's Month and specifically work-life balance. I think we have 5 parents on this call, mothers, and I know 2 of you at least have youngins, I would say. Some of us are kind of on the tail end of it, thank God. But Rachel, how do you balance it? Because I know you spend a lot of evenings with me on finances. How do you manage the kids, the husband life?
I don't know if I do a good juggling act. I don't know if balancing really works out well. I have a 5 and a 6-year-old, so it's definitely a handful. I'm grateful that the public schools opened in Florida this year so that I don't have to also be a teacher, because that adds, I think, another aspect to it. But I'm very fortunate to have a great husband who will come and pick up the slack for feeding the kids or doing stuff when I am stuck on late work calls. So it's kind of, just open communication, making sure that one of us and working as a team at home to make sure that we have it covered so we can make sure we're both active in our career and at home as well. So I don't know, Dina, I know you've got a little one as well, so I don't know how you're balancing it with yours for sure.
Thursday date night?
There is a Thursday date night. My husband have a weekly Thursday date night. I have made that very clear. I told Tita no calls after 5 Eastern on Thursday. It's a balance, right? So I just try to set my time limits, set my time with her, and do the best I can. She definitely is a mini Dina, which throws everybody into a spiral sometimes, but definitely setting your time limits, setting your personal space, and setting time aside for you and your husband or spouse or significant other. So,
but I think one of the nice things about technology is we can flex our hours. So I know sometimes I'll get up very early and I'll be working before my kids would get up and go to school, or then I'd kick off and spend a little time with them in the evening. And if I needed to, sometimes I'd jump on at night for an hour to catch up. So I think the flex time is really a nice thing about our industry.
Absolutely.
Well, and I would say, with COVID, a lot of people are just now experiencing remote work, right? And many of us have been in remote work for years, right? Yeah. And that flexibility, a lot of people, I don't know when work starts and, home life stops. But I think over time, you do learn how to figure out those limits. I know, Rachel, we were talking the other day, you like to do your workout in the middle of the day, and that's just kind of your block time. And as long as you kind of manage through that. So I think, setting those limits is an important one. Any other thoughts on the wonderful work-life balance, which I'm sure we all do better at some days and less at the others? It's probably one lesson is just give yourself grace in case you do it well one day and not so well the next day.
So I actually make it a priority. I'm an early bird type of person. So I'm up at 5 a.m, and the first thing I do is I run 7 miles. And that's my me time, and that's the time that I need to rejuvenate. And I find that it helps with stress, and I think it's just a real day brightener, and I'm up and at 'em, and I'm energetic, and I'm ready to go.
Good for you. Well, I'm a pickleball fan. How many of you guys know what pickleball is?
Oh,
I've heard of it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you get to hit a ball with a racket, so that's my afternoon event, and it's definitely a fun one to get away with. Hey, so we have a great question from Anna, and she wants to know, what kind of CRM tools are we using? Any thoughts on that one? We could certainly talk about Dynamics itself as a CRM tool. Gina,
I can take that one. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
take that one. So we're using Dynamics 365 CE, and then Lori and Julie mentioned F&O. So we're definitely using the customer service app. But one of my clients is we actually implemented a solution for the second text reminder for your COVID vaccine. So actually, it's built on Microsoft Dynamics 365 CE and Azure, along with using the Azure Service Bus and a texting functionality. So that's kind of an example of a complete solution. And then we have Power BI reporting built on top of that. So we can provide how many texts, how many participants. As of earlier, I want to say maybe a couple of days ago, we're about 784,000 texts. So that's an example of all the tool sets. I'm sure there's others out there too. So.
Cool. So I mentioned that it's International Women's Month earlier, and the theme this year is Choose to Challenge. What thoughts or quotes or anecdotes would that bring to mind to you guys? Okay, I'll give one. So one of my favorite quotes is it's the Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It's called The Man in the Arena, but I like to make it a little more gender neutral and person in the arena. And the whole concept of it is oftentimes people in our lives want to give us feedback. And the genesis behind the quote is that it's those people that are in the arena fighting with you, their knees are marred, their hands are bloody, that are the ones that have the right to give you feedback, to truly help you understand how to grow. Those that are on the outside watching you, do everything that you're doing, are just bystanders for that, right? And so, choosing to challenge to me means getting in there, getting in the fight, and really working through, tough challenges and tough issues in life. And that quote has always spoken really to me in that one.
Mine's more, it's probably not a quote, more of I call it an equation. And it's something I learned a long time ago from a local gentleman. And it's the equation is E plus R equals O. And my kids would smile if they're listening because this has been ingrained into them and they all know what it means. Really what it is, it's very basic. It's events happen to all of us. How we respond to them equals the outcome. And so as I work with my life and my children and my coworkers and my teammates, that's the thing that I always try to get across. We cannot control what's happening to us all the time, but we can absolutely, we have full control over how we respond to that. And I guarantee you that's what equals the outcome eventually. So that's my favorite one.
That's a good one.
So I think I had talked with you, Sita, regarding one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa. I cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. And what that says to me is we can all make a change, no matter how small it is. We first need to make the initiation, speak up, focus on continuous improvement. It may not seem like you're making any impact, but you are. It starts from that type of situation, and I think if we all believe in that, we can move mountains.
So speaking of moving mountains, you guys, I'm sure have all heard the term superpowers. How would you describe your superpowers? And I know you're going to fight to go first. So, Barbara, give it to us. What do you have?
I would say listening, right? And that's probably, a good one to have, maybe. So some superpower listening. And I think I've had a very successful career because I've been a very good listener and a good communicator. So for me, that would probably be something I'd think about.
That's awesome. Rachel?
Oh man, I thought it was like superpowers we want to have, like being really fast so I could like clean everything in my house and get everything done and then like skip all the, do all the chores and stuff really fast. I didn't have to realize it was like actual superpowers. I'll have to come back to that one.
That would be a good one, though.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it if I can figure out how to do it.
Dina?
I think
could
what Rachel,
characterize yours.
what is mine? This is better yet. What do you think my superpower is? What do you think?
On you.
Absolute positivity.
What is it? What did you think my superpower is?
Did you not hear me?
No, no.
Oh, sorry, I must have cut out. I said absolute positivity. You have a great vibe.
I do. It's fun. So this is fun. Okay. So now, Barbara, you get to say what Lori's. I'm just kidding. No, I think that's good enough. It's the superpower where you can do multiple things, and you're just like you're the one that's moving faster than everybody else, and you get everything done. And you sit back, and then you're the one that's having the glass of wine at the end of it, right? And you're looking at everybody going, "Yeah, you wish you had this power." So like the bed, the laundry's made, all the status reports are out, you've made all the calls, all the CRs are done. You're good.
That's awesome. Lori, what about you? Other than raising a football star, baseball star. Oh my God, I'll get in trouble for that one.
Wrong sport, Sita.
Close,
Yeah.
Very close.
Yeah. I don't know. I was the same thing as Rachel's. I think my superpower would be I ask a lot of questions. I don't know if that's a superpower or not, but if I had one to choose, it would be teleporting. That's what I would like to be able to do, so I don't have to waste time and travel and things like that. And I would just like to interject too. I think many of us work directly for Sita. I think that Sita, your superpower is you have this unbelievable way of helping clear the path to get things done, and it makes it our superpower as well. So,
oh, awesome. Julie, what do you got?
So mine may be a bit unusual, but I would say selflessness. I really believe very firmly in servant leadership and helping people out. And in an interview about 10 years ago, I had somebody, I think, kind of put me on the spot, and he asked me, what would somebody put on your grave? What would it say about you? And I responded instantly, she did it all with selfless heart. I think we all need to help each other, and I believe very firmly in that, and I would encourage selflessness.
That's awesome, Julie. So we have a question from Claude. Awesome. It said, with the global pandemic, did we see growth in the CRM market? And specifically, how has this kind of impacted the clients that we have? Which I think is a great question as you think about more call centers and, more remote work. Have we seen a growth in it yet? Or are we just seeing the manifestation of, the retail transformation itself in general?
I would say we're at the beginning of the retail transformation. Yeah, I think it's starting, and I think it's, CRM will be a big part of that, knowing the customer, reinventing, and even your employees, the experience for your employee that are going to be working with customers coming in the store, or customers online, or customers having support. I mean, you hear a lot about retailers where their support lines were just overwhelmed with the pandemic. I think we're on the cusp of what's going to happen in the next 24 months, probably, my opinion.
That's interesting. Lori?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what we saw early on was back to the contact center, and, Microsoft has a beautiful foundation of that omni-channel hub. And what we saw was the timing was interesting in that people were in a huge rush, right? So we didn't have a lot of time to get all of our folks at home and working from home, and the contact centers all remote working from home. And so to Barbara's point, I think everybody did that as quickly and as inefficiently as possible because they had to. And now it's a great opportunity to go back and say, what can we be doing differently? What tool set do we have today that we didn't have last year or the year before that can really make that transition to stay at home more efficient and more profitable? So I think we're going to start to see a lot of that in various industries.
No, that's awesome. Sylvia, I love your question. What are the most necessary tools for you to work from home? Headset, extra monitor, chair, Yes, and man, I am a huge fan of a good chair because unfortunately, some of us spend a little bit too long in it. I would add smoothing machine into that one because at least two of us are major foodies on this call. And the ability to quickly run to the kitchen, make a smoothie in 5 minutes while you're on mute in between calls is an important one. But what else, ladies?
The massager. I have a little massager for my neck because I'm typing so much. And I would say the right height
That's a
of
good
your
one.
chair and your mouse to your keyboard, so you're not, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good headset for sure.
Help is good too. Back to the Rachel and Dina comment. I'm blessed to have a husband who generally makes me coffee every morning, and almost every morning I get breakfast. So extra help is always a good one too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So ladies, as we start to close this down, advice for those out there, whether they're in high tech or not, in terms of their career path and just thinking about their future. Julie, I'll start with you.
Yes. Be yourself, be passionate about whatever you want to do. And always remember, if it was myself and I was looking for an individual to hire, I'm going to be looking for those personal attributes, selflessness, positive attitude, and passionate. And I would look at that over product knowledge, even though product knowledge is important.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Lori?
I think it's basic. I think, and it's said quite often, is do what you love and it won't be work. And that really is true. I mean, it's not to say that every day there's not, issues that make me want to pull my hair out, but at the end of the day, doing what you love really does help get through that exercise.
Mm-hmm. Dina?
Be you, be yourself. I think being passionate and, being compassionate even for others, be consistent, but just be you. Know you can do it. Have confidence in yourself. Speak with confidence. Act with confidence, and you'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Barbara?
Yeah, I would say build your brand, right? So it is a long journey, your career, and you have to build your own brand awareness. So that means doing what you say you're going to do, working hard, following through, delivering on your commitments, integrity, working as a team, just think of all those things and know it's a journey. So, and hang in there through it, right? Be persistent.
Rachel?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a journey, and I think you need to be able to work hard and, face up to challenges. And you may not know what you're going to do every day, and that's okay. You can learn a lot along the way, and especially if you work well in a team and everything else. So don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to jump in and experience something. I mean, as long as you're not making the same mistake over and over, like there's no harm in doing what, as long as it makes you happy and you're true to yourself and you're have integrity and everything else, for sure.
No, I agree. I remember when I was fairly young in my wonderful engineering career that I mentioned earlier, I had one of the senior VPs ask me, where do you want to be in 20 years? And I don't know about you guys, but those questions just drive me nuts. And what I learned was it wasn't about the job I wanted, but it was the attributes of the jobs. And for me, I found I need two things to succeed. I need to enjoy the people I work with, like all of you guys, and I need to be challenged. And so for me, it was always finding those two things in whatever I did. And if you're the kind that likes to be challenged and you like to try new things, I'm a huge believer that skills matter and that skills transfer. And whether you have the industry knowledge or the product knowledge, that can be learned. It's your basic core integrity and the kind of things that you do and how you do it that I think really make a difference. So I do want to thank everybody for coming. Hopefully you've enjoyed our time together. I will tell you that this is a growing practice at DXC. We are looking for new individuals, so let us know if you're interested. We do actually have jobs posted on our DXC career site, and we are going to host a virtual job fair on April 6th, so I please ask you to look forward to that. And I just thank you again for joining us, and please reach out if you have any further questions or want to join the team. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.